Hi, my name is Liam, and over the past year, I've sent hundreds of thousands of cold emails and I've booked hundreds of calls across multiple B2B industries. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you the main reason responsible for this Clay. I'll take you through a live walkthrough of the entire platform, how to set it up, and also how to use it. And the idea is if you're a beginner or a pro, you can understand my thought process. So instead of just copying, you can actually copy and paste it into your processes and book calls on autopilot. So, with that out of the way, let's get focused and let's get right into it.
So, as you can see, I'm on like a Clay page right now. It's very simple. It's a lot of, I guess, data sheets. And the best way of summarizing up Clay, in a sense, is it's a big Google sheet with lots of APIs integrated. And APIs is basically external platforms that can connect into Clay, right? And you can use APIs with pretty much anything you do. And with this, you can link it up and you can run their automations inside this platform. And this is like, you're like, oh, okay, like, why is this important? It's really important in the sense that when you are going through uh, lots of different automations, so I use lots and lots of different data providers, you can basically integrate it all into one platform. Because I used to have to go to different platforms, maybe run it through validation, maybe run it through enrichment, and it was just destroying my time. So this is just like, it's like, yeah. So this is what it kind of looks like. Few tables here built out. I'm gonna be honest. I'm pretty much only going to go through what I use. Like, there's other stuff here, which is like, there's like find companies, find people, find jobs. Like, that's like, this is great, but like a majority of this stuff, you can just kind of do it inside a table. And I'm literally just gonna go through what I do. Like, I build out a lot of these tables. So yeah. So again, I might look to the left here because I have like a setup of things I don't want to miss, which are like really important. So if we come into the new tab, right? You have three options. You have a workbook, you have a table, and you have a folder. To put it bluntly, a workbook goes into a table and a table goes into a folder. And the way I would look at it is you have a Google Drive, you have a Google Sheet inside of a Google Drive, and you have multiple sheets inside of that Google Sheet, inside of a Google Drive. That's so hard to say for some reason. But pretty much that's what that is. And I pretty much, like, whenever I sign on a new client, I make a new folder completely, just because it just makes everything more organized. And you have a lot of different automations kind of going around here. And then next would be the table, and then the workbook. I pretty much always like start with a workbook because like I always have to map to different tables, and it just looks nicer. So what we're going to do is, oh yeah, and also up here you see like find people, companies, find jobs. Like, you can look at, like, I'll just click into this just to show you, but like I don't use it, to be honest. I use Apollo for a lot of my leads, which I'll show. Yeah, so you can just go in here. There's the method, which is like a search query. There's company attributes, which is just refining your ICP pretty much. You have the job title, you have experience. I'm gonna be honest, again, I haven't touched this, so like, this is good if you want to try, and there's some limits on it, etc. But like, again, I built so many of these tables and I've never touched this, so just don't waste your time, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to build a workbook now. So I'm gonna build a workbook from this, and we're just gonna name it test or whatever. So we're just gonna test or delete. That's a nice name for a workbook. And as you can see, you are brought onto this kind of like page here where there's all this quote like data, and you haven't really used it yet. But if you click browse all options, this is very interesting. So we have, basically, you can make a blank table, you can run a few templates, you can find people slash companies, which I was going through before, which I haven't really done. And then you can import objects from Salesforce or HubSpot. This is good for enriching leads inside of a CRM. And Clay also has a new scheduling feature, so you can run continuous, like, daily enrichments. So that just means, like, if you have someone at a company inside your CRM, right, and they move, you can run that through a scheduled setup, and it will run it through all the enrichments again. So your sales team is like always up to date, or maybe you yourself want up to date data, pretty much anything you want, and you can run this automatically and import it back into HubSpot or Salesforce, etc. Um, what I use a majority of the time is importing CSV. But before I do that, I will go into the other one I use a lot, which is import data from Appify Actor. So this is really, really awesome. And it's really, really, it's a good thing to have and to have in your arsenal. And I will make a full video on this as well, because this is a whole thing in itself. But if I go into Fi, right? So Appify is, it's like a full web scraping platform, and it should let me log in a second. It should let me log in a second. There we go. And it's a full web scraping platform where you can scrape pretty much anything. Like to say, like I'd be lying if I said like I could scrape most things. One of the cool workflows I've built out is you scrape Facebook ads library, you see if they're running Facebook ads, then um you put it through, so if they are running ads, you then put it through OpenAI's optical something something, and it's basically like an optical version of OpenAI. You can tell what type of ad they're running, and then you can write text based on their ad. So you actually know what type of ad they're running if it's an image. If it's like text, that's like that's pretty obvious. So the one I'm using now is LinkedIn Job Scraper. I test out a lot of these just to see which ones are good, as you can see, and like and pretty much LinkedIn Job Scraper is just you go through and it'll scrape LinkedIn's job for you, and also in the Indeed one is good as well. And it'll scrape it, and you can basically go enrich it, and you can reach out to them. I gave this example recently to someone. They were selling an SEO SaaS, and he was basically saying, "Look, I see you are looking to hire for this position. We can help you do this for literally like a tenth of the price. You can also have a free trial if you want, and just give it a whack." And it was just an SEO SaaS. So, and they were hiring for like SEO, like recruits or whatever. So, very interestingly. And what's nice about this is if you set it up as a saved task and then you put it on a schedule, you can then schedule it and this will run every single day. And then now you then get a constant flow of people kind of coming in and they're hiring. And then if you run a dedupe, so I'll go through what a dedupe is as well, because there's a lot of things here. Everything else here, I just don't touch it. The other thing is an RSS feed. Some companies or some websites have built-in RSS feeds, and pretty much an RSS feed is an updating version of the website. So when something gets added to a website, you can consistently update and keep updating the RSS feed. And when that kind of sends a ping, it'll send the data to this kind of webhook, and then it'll import it into a table. So you can build one. You can build an RSS feed. Some companies have it like built into their website already. And with this, you can basically go through, have it built out, and then it'll constantly update and ping, and you just get some really good information. But before we do all that, I'm going to I'm going to import some leads. So let's see. Here we are. And if we go, did I not type in Apollo? If I type in Apollo, I should have like a ton of leads, right? I have so many of these kind of moving around. So we're just going to import. Yeah, let's import this one. God, I should have like actually planned it out. This is like 13,000 leads or something. So you'll watch this happen in real time. So pretty much, you basically import the list, and as you can see, we have this kind of CSV here. The first row contains column names. I get a majority of my data from Apollo, so you can just, I guess, work off that as well. And then you just click complete import and give it a sec, and it'll start kind of loading up. It'll start loading all the columns from end to end, and then it'll start populating the data. Let's hope this doesn't take too long because there's like a lot. Let me see. Yeah, here we are. So right now, moving on from that, yeah, merge columns, formulas. Okay. So as you can see, this is the initial kind of setup for the list, and it's going to start. You'll see this is going to keep kind of going up. If I reload, it'll probably be like nearly finished, but we won't do that yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just basically give you like how I kind of build out this table now. So this is machinery, and they only have X amount of, how do I describe this? X amount of emails, and I got a list that doesn't have all the emails, so I want to run a find email finder. So if I go into add enrichment, I can go into, let's say, lead magic, So lead magic is what I use a lot, and we're looking to find the work email. And if I come into this, okay, this is actually a good example. I forgot about this. This is I kind of do this so often, I kind of forget about this. So lead magic, to set up a lead magic to find a work email. So this is kind of quote into the learning process. Now I'm like looking at this, and merge columns is one of them, and I'm like, this is great. This is like leading me perfectly in. So we need a person's name and a company domain, right? And if I just don't save this, because that's fine, I need a full name for this person. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a formula to pretty much attach these two names together. And I've done this so often, I think I could do this without, I'm pretty sure I could do this without like using the formula, but you can basically give it text on how these statements should be done. And if any of you have ever done code, there's the main statements are if, else, and or. So when you're writing out the prompts, you want to have an if, like and or else kind of statements. So I want to, or you could just use basic English. We'll see, but it gets more complicated. So this formula, right? I would basically say, I need to spell. I want you to join slash. So you do slash. So you guys can see on my keyboard slash, right? Let's hope you guys understood that. If you can't, I wish you all the best. First name and slash last name. So as you can see, I used and here, separated, SEPE, or separated by. Right. So I'm back. Everything just decided to break, and I'm gonna go through where I was again. I didn't go too far, thankfully, because I think my internet also cut. It's like everything decided to break. But going back, I was walking you through the full name and the formula. So as you can see here, we have the first name, last name. I'm just going to go over here and use formula and then use AI. So I was just explaining that when you click separated by a space, you can use the two quotations and then a space, or you can just use natural English and you can just say space as well. So with this, you then get a beautiful looking formula that is extremely simple and separates the first name and the last name, and you basically have a bit of a disconnect. And it's good because with this, you then don't have to deal with, I guess, all the BS of like trying to learn code and all this stuff. So you get that. And with this, you get a beautiful formula that comes through here. The next thing I was saying was you want to label and you want to rename your formulas, because it gets really confusing. I've had tables which are incredibly long and it's super annoying, and you don't know what's going on. So with this, you have the full name, and I renamed it, and then you can color it as well, so you know kind of what part of the clay table you're on. So the next thing I usually do is I want to get the email now. I want to make sure the email's right. I want to make sure I'm able to actually contact this person. So one of the things about this is when you are looking to contact this like said person, you want to get their email, and these have some missing. Some are missing. I'm going to just change this just to make it look nicer, which is email and is empty. So these are filters. These are good to know, very good to know. And this will pretty much give me all the emails that are like empty right now. And what I want to do is I want to click. So I want to right click on this. So right click, and it'll bring me up here. And then I go into insert right, and then I want to go into waterfall. So a waterfall is just a set of actions where it'll run the first column and then it won't run the next column until the first column has either run and not gotten a response or has gotten a response and is positive. And if it's gotten it and it's negative, then it'll keep going. So let's just test this out, right? So if we go into find email. So as you can see, Clay has a few built-in email finders here, and a majority of them are like you can see like find email, drop contact, lead magic, find personal emails, 5 credits. Wow. So, and there's ICPS. I don't know how to pronounce that. Hunter, Prospio. So I'm going to use lead magic just because I actually have a subscription with them. And over here, you see the company domain and the person's name. And what you want to do is it basically maps it over by just tracking, like it just uses AI to track it pretty much. And you just go into email and you go in here and then save step. And there you go. So this is a step in the sequence. And if I'm just gonna do this again, I'm just gonna use Prospio. We can go like this, and the setup is the exact same. And you come over here, email, save waterfall, and then add another one. And you can keep doing this. And what's nice is it won't take credits for, how do I describe this? It won't take credits if it doesn't find anything. So even if you use all of them, it doesn't work like that. So find work email, and then it will do this as well. And you want to set this to email. So as you can see, I now have 3 kind of providers in this, and I'm looking for their email. I then want to run. So this is important, right? I'm just gonna save and don't run here. I'm just gonna show you the formula end of things. Let me see. Oh, so yeah, as you can see, it'll add in a bunch of different columns, and it's just gonna organize them. And this is the end output. So I'm just gonna remove this filter. So I think it's good to see. It's good to see how this will work. So I want to only run this column if the email is empty. Like that physically, that's literally all I want to do. Because if I run it while I have an email, then that's just wasting money. And nobody likes that. Literally nobody. So you can come into use AI. So like I know this off by heart, but you can come into this kind of use AI formula again and just basically say, um uh only run if slash, so the slash again, email email is empty, right? And you just come in and you go give it a condition, and then it'll give you this. And then you can basically, if email is empty, column will run. That is not right. Only run if email is empty. Let me stress again. Wait, that is right though. But I love when stuff like this happens. It's just quite amusing. Because the exclamation mark basically means empty. And if you have 2 exclamation marks, it means if it exists. So if I just run 10 rows, I don't want to run all 13K. It shouldn't run rows 1 to 4 and 6. Oh, there we go. Okay, right. I was so confused. Sometimes it does that. But as you can see, it'll say run condition not met, and it won't run for the ones that haven't been found. And I'm just going to run more. So if I come in here, come into run column, choose number of rows. We're just going to set this to like 100. Actually, we're just going to set it to like 50. Here we are. So as you can tell, a lot of the rows aren't running. And look, we have found an email, and then this is like the email section here. And we found an email, and as you can see, it's running it through Prospio and Find Email as well. So if you have a tiny market, like I'm talking minuscule, and you're like, well, not even minuscule. If you just have a small market and you're like, I would like to target all of these people and find all of their emails, you can come in here. Like, I think I mentioned this. If you have a CRM, this is how you would find their emails. So you have maybe their LinkedIn, you have their phone number, and you want to go through and you're like, I should probably contact this person by email as well as a multi-touch point. You can do this. And then from here, you obviously have these like separated kind of columns now. So the next thing is to merge them all together. So come over here, you come into merge columns, and pretty much what this does is it'll create another column that looks like this, and you just run merge. So the way this conditional works is it'll run that first one, and then it'll try the next one after that. So if I go here and I go custom waterfall, and then this, and then if I go slash email, and it goes like this. If I go save, and then as you can see, it'll pop out, and you'll then end up with a column that looks like this. And we basically have everything, all the emails inside now. So as you can see, this has been mapped over to here. This has been mapped over to here. And you just have, and this will keep going. But if I was to, let's say, keep running, oh wait, no, this won't work. So if I was to keep running, let's say these, just going through, and if we were to, let's say, find any of the emails, it will then get added to over here as well. So it's just a nice little kind of touch point and a little feature on this. And then what's also nice is that this can run automatically. So I think I mentioned earlier, or I did mention earlier, about the LinkedIn job scraper. You can set up the LinkedIn job scraper to find, let's say, someone in the HR department, someone in the marketing department, and you can try find their LinkedIn, find their email, and then kind of like automate this whole process. So from here, ooh, oh God. So from here, I then want to validate these emails. So I want to make sure if I email to them, they actually will kind of pick up. So I keep going insert right. I go into add enrichment, and then come over here, and I go into lead magic. People use Million Verifier as well. I just use Lead Magic because I have the credits from it, and like it doesn't really matter as long as it works and it it integrates into this. So you need to be careful of what you put into the person's email. And I'm just gonna put in new, oh shoot, new column. Sure. And then yeah, so I'm just gonna set this up. So I'm only gonna run if this new column exists. Okay. And then from here, this lead magic, like everybody gives kind of different outputs, and I'll just kind of show you. Actually, yeah, no, I'm gonna do this. Just set all of them just so you can see. Usually I just use valid and Outlook and email. Let me see. So let me see. I want to run the first 100. So I don't want to run 13,000 because I've already done this on this, and this is just like a setup sheet or whatever. So just come over here, click again, and then run column. Oh my God. Yeah, sometimes it does this. Ooh, sometimes it does this. Wow, it is having a heart attack. Maybe it's getting nervous. And we come here. I'm just gonna run the first 100. There we go. So with this, I'm also just gonna close Amplify while I get the chance. Here we are. So it'll only run for the ones that do exist. So you'll start seeing. So as you'll start seeing, this will be valid, 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 valid. And this just means these are basically safe to deliver to, and it's good to kind of, reach out to them. And as you can see, this has basically all the data that you're looking for. And if I click into this one, here we are, you have all this data here, right? And you can basically add columns, copy columns. You can basically do whatever you want with this. So like, let's say I wanted to add this as another kind of column. You can go here, email 3, create column, boom. And that's kind of all set up, and it'll just kind of prompt out. Here we are. And this is just another column. I'm going to delete this because we don't need to, but you can just add columns as you please. Because when you get more kind of technical, this is very surface level. When you get very technical, you can use APIs from different platforms like Rapid API, Applify. I can show Applify now as well, which is an interesting kind of flow, which I can kind of go into as well. So conditional runs, I'm just looking at this sheet because I don't want to miss anything because there's actually a lot. So write to table, here we are. Okay. So now we have this kind of like, let's say general setup, okay? And I want to map over some leads to a different table. And I'm just going to call this blank table. And it's just a blank table with nothing on it. And I want to map over people that are only valid to this new table. So this is good to work around because Clay has a 50K person, like a 50 row limit, and it doesn't go above that, which is understandable because it's just a lot of fucking data. You know what I mean? So there's that. So if I come over here and I basically go insert right, go to add enrichments, and then I can just go into here and then write to other table, something I use quite a lot. Here we are, and then we go to, I'm just gonna select table, custom table, boom, and then we go into here. We go slash. So this is if you have a list of items. We don't have any. We don't have a list now, and it's good. Like let's say if you're scraping Google Maps, it's good to like map it over and using the right to table function, and it'll go through the list. But this is just like pretty basic right now. So like let's say I just want to map over a full name. I just want to map over the email, and that's it. Let's just say I just want to map over these two. You can create new columns, and then it'll just create the columns for us. You go to run settings, and you go If okay, so this is where it gets a bit more nuanced, right? You want to run this column only if the status is equal to valid. So I'm just going to be like, so if status, oh, sorry, slash status we are is equal to valid, um, you just have to write this, right? And if you look at generate formula, it'll just give you an idea of what it looks like. So if the status is equal to valid, it will run the formula, right? Output formula is correct and whatever. And I'm just going to come through and save and run the 13K rows. And just give it a second. And from what you can see, only the valid rows will run. And as you can see, it's also creating new rows. And if I come over here, it'll start getting populated in a new table. I'm just going to delete this one up top. Here we are. And as you can see, if valid, status is equal to valid. What went on here, Mr. David Brendel? What did you do? Where's your email? Oh, yes. Okay. So that was a mistake on my end. I used this. This is David Brendel, and I should have used the new column uh, instead of the first email. So that's just like a mistake, which is fine. And I'll just delete these. So from here, right, one of the things I wanted to show is there's these. Okay, so this is more stuff, and this is also really important. There is the auto update. I've never used view table history. Jeez, I've literally never used this. This is incredible. It's some of this stuff I'm literally seeing for the first time. God. So, okay, right. Next is auto update columns is enabled for this table. So this basically means like if you want to control, like when you're building a table at the beginning, it's pretty good to set this as off because you don't want the table to run like with 13,000 columns, right? That would take a long time. Like I'm talking like a pretty long time running through everything. You want to kind of turn it off, and if you mess that up, it will burn so much money. So you can have this off, but it's good kind of auto updating as you go along. And then the next one is this auto dedupe. This is very good to not waste duplicate credits. And just to show what I mean, right? I'm just gonna make a few columns here, right? So I'm just gonna copy this person's name and go like this. So Mike O'Rourke now has many names. And with this, what we should do is go auto dedupe. You go enable automatic dedupe. Go to, for some reason, the email is the name, which is quite funny. I didn't even realize that. So it says 4 duplicate rows will be deleted, right? And save changes. And look, it basically removes all of the duplicates inside. This means you're not running on irrelevant rows that other people are kind of using or they're not using, etc. And it's good. It's just full stop. It's good. So you're not wasting money. And just to clarify, if you're wondering, it will keep the first row it means. So the one at like the first one will be the one it keeps, and then everything below that will be removed. So there's that. Let me see. I have using AI Clagent as well. So um, I'm going to show using AI first, just to normalize company names, and I'll show Clagent afterwards. So if I go into add enrichment, right? If I go into open AI, right? There's a lot of AI, and if I just go AI, yeah, it's just generate GPT text. There's using AI, artificial intelligence. So this is good because I have API key settled, and if you guys don't know what OpenAI is or OpenAI keys, it's this here. Just a note, when you start using OpenAI, my leg is itchy. Sorry. Right. So just when you're starting to use kind of OpenAI and these platforms, just note that it uses more money than you think it does, but it also uses less money than you think it does. So just gonna make that completely upfront. I don't even know what my consumption has looked like in the last, let's see. I haven't looked at this, so we're gonna look at this together. We're gonna see how much I've spent. 168 million. Okay. How do I oh let me see. What about let me see how much have I spent? Oh, nearly a billion tokens, 700,000 requests. $130. Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay. Right. So this is 730,000. No, million. It's million, right? And yeah, this keeps going. But pretty much, you can go into this, and this will tell you how much your usage has been. Wait, if I pull this out. Oh shoot, I can pull this out. Oh, it only does 30 thingy time frame. Oh, fair enough. Right. Again, this is stuff I usually just give OpenAI my money, and they just kind of like go along and they take it, and they help me out like a good person. So pretty much, you can go in here and you can go into API keys. I'm okay with going in here because uh yeah, it basically abbreviates all of this, and you don't want anybody getting this key. And if I was to go into the maths behind this, it's so interesting. It's oh shoot, I don't want to give out false information, but I was looking into like Bitcoin and blockchain, and that's just like I'm just a bit of a weirdo like that. So whatever. But look into it, um, making a random number generator and then hashing the keys, and then oh, it's super cool. But back on track. So you basically make an API key. Right, I'm just gonna go over here. You create like an API key, you give it like whatever a name and all this stuff, and then you come in here and you can pick a particular model. And just to know, right? Like to use these models, you have to have like a Gemini account with Google, and to use Anthropic, you need a Claude account or whatever. And then with DeepSeek, you can do all this stuff. Right? With OpenAI, it's just like yeah, okay, so OpenAI is here. I just use Mini because it's the cheapest, and their rates are like ginormous, and I can just keep running it forever. And with this, you have a lot of kind of different like setups on how you can kind of do this. Let me see. How am I going to explain this? Right. Let's go to first browsing templates. So my first example I wanted to use is without a Clayagent, which is a web researching software where it'll kind of go through the websites and search online for stuff, and I'll show you how the reasoning behind that works. My phone is just vibrating. Uh, okay. Apologies. Business stuff, naturally. I should probably turn it off actually, just for you guys. I'm turning this off. Okay, it has been turned off. So back on site, right? So there's a few kind of setups. These are like classic ones I'm using, but one of them is let me see, cleaning company name. So this is really good, right? If you are dealing with um a site, right, or you want to email them and put their name of the company, but you see like if you can see here, there's Incorporated, there's Energy Management, there's Winst. Like I don't want to send all caps Winstonstein North America. Like this is it's just dumb. So this is a prompt I've developed, and it's just you just put in this kind of framework, and it goes something like this. And this is one of the like I have a few videos where on AI and how like to prompt properly, and this is one of them where you basically have to give it examples. So you'll be given a company name. For a company, your goal is to take the company name and remove any irrelevant information like ltd.com, LLC, etc., or locations like institute, country indicators like UK, EU, etc. Format it properly. Remove anything generic. Shorten the name to 1 to 2 words. Only output the company name by itself. Never say company name or formatted company name. Make sure to capitalize. I spell capitalize. Shoot, I don't even know if I spelled that right. I'm in Europe, so you know what I mean. Like we have S's here. I know some people have Z's, and it's like losers, but whatever. Right. And then you basically then give it examples. So Raven Capital Management, you have Raven, you have Econolyse Financial Services, Econolyse, and then you just put in your one. Another thing you could do, and you can only do this on this version, is let me see. You can give it examples. So you can basically add examples for like how you want it to respond. So if you want it to respond in a structured JSON format, etc., stuff like that. This I'm gonna go into this, but this is so useful. I'll go into it for Clayagent because it's a bit more useful for Clayagent, but it's so useful. Then oh, for some reason I am oh okay. And then the next one is the model run settings. Frankly, I haven't touched this. I haven't actually needed to. Like the maximum length, like just control it with your prompt. The temperature is how creative you want it to be. So like for a task like this, I want it to be low. Like I don't want it to be creative. I don't want it to change the company name. So there's that. And then yeah. So what we're going to do, okay, and then you'll see a glimpse into how like I start building these tables as well. So there's a structure to this stuff that you kind of have to go through. And I had a full list of stuff here that I was supposed to go through, and I'm kind of going off track, but we're just gonna rift it and see what happens because this is way more important because I'm actually building a table. So let me see. So we have like find work email, right? We have all this kind of email stuff, and then we only ran this next column if we have an email here, so we're not wasting money, right? And then next, we will only run this column if we have a valid email address to send to, because there's no point in enriching information for a person where we don't have the valid email address. The only situation this would work is if you're maybe enriching a CRM and you want to get all of their data. And it's like, okay, like just because we don't find an email, we probably should still look for a LinkedIn, something like that. So I'm just going to do it here. So we come in here and we only run this if slash status equal to valid. There we go. So we just run the same prompt again. And we're just going to run this. And again, I'm just gonna run for all just because I've only run for 100 and it just don't usually do this. That's a bad idea because you'll probably break it. So just give it a second and it will start auto outputting. Do not tell me you put it at the end. How lovely of you. I love when this stuff happens. Ooh. This stuff gets super laggy because there is like 13,000 rows of data and I'm like currently moving 13,000 cells. So the fact that my laptop hasn't crashed yet is absolutely testament. So as you can see, right, we have basically formatted the names, and you can see it's between 1 to 2 words and like collaborative, addictive, ag. Like I don't even know what that is. I'm not sending that in an email or even generally. So it's just Calabrian or Moxa, and this has actually just come to mind. Uh, I can abbreviate the names as well. So if it's 2 words, I can go SF, or surface prep or something like that. And also, sorry, I'm just riffing here because there's just more ideas. The other one is I can abbreviate their full name. So it's like, um, oh shoot, there's probably a use case for that where I can be like, hey, Mr. Uh, A Wimmer. I don't know. That sounds a bit weird. I feel like that could be a pattern interrupt. I'm just thinking about that now. Sorry. Again, I'm just like just going off what I'm thinking. But pretty much, we have this kind of we're only running this, and it basically like it removed industries, it removed uh, building solutions, it removed ink, MFG is gone, like Dynamics Inc. like it's all gone, and like this is great. Oh shoot, I probably shouldn't have. Wait, did I run for all of these? Oh no, it should be okay. Yeah, we're good. I was like, shoot, I'm gonna have to, gonna have to pause something. So that's one, right? And if I click into this, you'll see a few things. If I click in, let me see. So we have a response. So this is the response of I guess the AI, and we can basically map this around now. We have the tokens used, the input tokens, the output tokens, and whatever amount of money that is. That's 1 cent. That's a tenth of a cent, 100 of a cent. That's 10,000 cent. Yeah, I think that's right. God, I don't even know. But yeah, it's not usually like this. Well, for this it is, sorry. But for other tasks, it's usually about 1,000th of a dollar. So what you can do is you can basically add a column like this and you go master company name. You make the column, maps it over, and then you can, I think it's moved it to the end. Oh no, it hasn't. Sometimes it does that. Again, this stuff can be quite random. And we come over here, and then I'm just gonna give it a color again so you guys know what to focus your eyeballs on. And then yeah, so now we have where has the master? Oh, there we go. So we have this. So this is great and all, and you're like, okay, so we've done. What is Clayagent? Let me show you what Clayagent is. Right. So I'm just gonna give you. This is a very like broadband example. I don't have their LinkedIn, even though I do have their LinkedIn. Right. because all the data is mapped over. It's still mapped over here. So now I need to go look for, like, this is just one of like a billion use cases I use. I need to go to their, I need to get them, I need to get their role, and I need to get their company, and I need to find their LinkedIn, and I need to find their website. Let's say I need to find two things, right? This is super like, it's like this is a pretty average use case. Like sometimes the data you have is missing and you need to find certain things. So with AI and with this Clayagent in particular, you can come up here and this is already set to Clayagent. You want to set this to 4.0 mini because you are going to go broke if you use anything else, trust me. And I need to find their LinkedIn and their website. I'm going to work backwards here just to kind of explain this. The first thing I need to do, and you'll notice there's less settings because the Clayagent doesn't have as many built-in settings. I'm just going to set this to only run if slash master company name exists. Generate formula. So it's just going to be two exclamation marks and then the company name variable. And if this doesn't work, I'll just do it myself. It is just to like demonstrate because it's faster to just type this in myself. But again, I'm just demonstrating. So I haven't seen many people using this. I don't know why. Maybe these guys are like hiding from me or something, but who knows? This is really useful, so you should probably use it. And it's, you can basically specify outputs with the OpenAI. Like if I come into JSON, the schema, this is how it, like, the output's formatted, and this is JSON. I forgot what it's called, but it's the best way of transporting data like across the internet and stuff. So as you can see, it looks like this. But with the fields, what you can do is you can just set this up to be like website, LinkedIn. And before I used to use like output as JSON, I'd parse the JSON and then like get all this data. I don't really do that anymore. It's just like I'm going to provide you. Yeah, sometimes my typing is not great. Provide you with a company's name, a person's name, and their position at the company. So the reason this kind of works and like I'm not too worried about them not being there is because I validated the email. Like I guarantee if I was to run this on like the emails where it's not found or it's not validated, they've probably left the company. But if they're valid, there's still like a space of time where that email still exists because people have to still receive the emails, etc. So um, I want I want you to find the company's website and the person's, oh my god, person's LinkedIn. Guys, don't mind my typing. It is usually this terrible, but that's okay because it's okay because I make for up for it with everything else. But it's okay. It's okay. Um if so you always want to set it up so if you cannot find it. So if you cannot find it, output n/a. NA is a pretty good one, just to kind of set up. And if you do find it, find it only output it and nothing else. I You may have moved to this part of this because this is just me typing away, but hopefully you're learning something. Here's the details. So we're just gonna go. Whoa, why is it lagging? Right, so it's slash full name. For some reason, it's not full name. For some reason, we're going to remove these two, and we're going to do role as well. Slash role, and then slash company. So I'm going to use the full company name here, not the master one, because the master one has, of course, been shortened down. and watch the AI work like an absolute master, right? So we're just gonna run it for if the company name, master company name exists. Let me see. So this is fascinating to watch. Just give it a second because I probably should have made a smaller data sheet without 13,000 rows. But again, you can see what in real time what this actually does and what it's supposed to do for massive data sets of 50,000 people. So just give it a second. And boom. So this is what it looks like. This is pretty incredible. And it's basically gone through and it's found the person's LinkedIn and their solution. If I come in here, if I come over here, oh, for some reason, this is wow. Okay, so yeah, no, laptop's definitely taking a hit. It's okay. Right, what we're going to do is yeah. So usually I kind of set this up and I run only 10, not 100, and then I kind of just run all and just leave it, and I just kind of like go off and do something else, which is perfectly fine. But it's just like some of this stuff kind of. So this is Neff Jenkins, right? And let's see how accurate this is. So Neff Jenkins, this is CEO and owner of Brooks Building Solutions. You come over here and just hopefully this will load up and it will just go through and we'll see what LinkedIn says about this person and what they are saying. Hopefully I have none of my blockers on. Usually I have like my LinkedIn blockers. So this is Neff Jenkins, CEO owner of Brooks Building Solutions. Very nice. He's been at it for 25 years. So close this. Very nice. And this person has been in the job. Yeah, and so this is the owner and CEO and owner, Brooks Building Solutions. Happy days. And this is Brooks Building Solutions.net. So this is them as well. And it's a nice kind of like combo. Wait, let me see as well. Like thermal, let me see, thermal care, WendellMFG.com, sawstop.com. Yeah. So like this is fine. This is great. So with this then, you now can enrich, let's say, an entire CRM on your end. And that is the kind of Claygen end of things. And what's really, really cool is if you click into this, right, it'll give you an example of what how it kind of went about the process. So website is here, LinkedIn is here. Reasoning. The official website for Moxa was confirmed from the first search result. The LinkedIn profile for Chi Hong Lin matched the search query and position, indicating a high likelihood of accuracy. So I come down here, it literally tells me what it did. And it went through a few different steps. And it was just like Moxa official website. I found the following search result. Moxa, your trusted partner in automations, is leading blah blah blah. So this is the snippet. And then it also went into the website, which is nice. So it went in and visited the actual website, and it then also searched for Google for Chong name. I'm just gonna say name. I know I'm Asian, but like I can't say some of this stuff. I found the search partner. This person. It's a global tech partner. Yeah, I was just making sure the data was correct. It used 8,500 tokens. It was a bit more than a thousandth of a cent. It took about 11 seconds. So as you can see, this data is incredibly useful. Incredibly useful. And of course, you can't win them all. Like, this person doesn't have their LinkedIn. He is a senior Flexonics. I don't even know what a Flexonics is. He sounds like a weightlifter, but for electronics, a Flexonics. Wow. I hope you guys didn't cringe too hard at that. Whatever. So, right. So that's Claygen, right? And like some use cases is you could shoot, I'm just thinking, got off the top of my head. Like you can access people's LinkedIn's through whatever their public profile is. Claygen can do that. You can get case studies from their websites. You can get people they've worked with in the past. You can get how long they've been working at a company. But you can get all this information. It's crazy. So would recommend. Next thing I had on here was just so I don't kind of go too off course, which is Appify. So I mentioned Appify at the start, where you can kind of set up the webhook. But what is this still doing? Running, man. I'm just gonna stop all runs. This is probably why my table's lagging. Oh, wait, why is this still running? That's so weird. Whatever. So the next thing we can do is shoot. This is very unfortunate because I don't have the Facebook in here. What we're going to do is I'm just gonna give you an example. Gymshark Facebook. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. So we're just gonna add another column here just to give you an example of how this works. So if I come and add enrichment, nope, that's wrong. Text. So Gymshark, everybody knows of Gymshark, right? They're literally like, well, I hope you do anyways. Go to the gym, guys. Even though I haven't been in a while because I've been slacking and I've been working too hard. But like, who cares? Who cares? So with Appify, one of the things I've been doing, and I can make a full kind of like breakdown of this on how this kind of works. But I can basically go in and scrape their LinkedIn. Or sorry, I just said LinkedIn, Facebook. So I put in my Appify key. It'll look through my runs, and then the Facebook ad scraper is the one I'm going to use. And I'm just going to do this in real time because it shouldn't take that long. I should have this saved as a template. Bro, I should absolutely have this saved as a template. I'm not that silly, am I? Maybe I am that silly. Oh god. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not that dumb because I use this a lot. Yeah, okay, so it's not this. We are going to use shoot, what is this called? Oh my god, I forgot the name. So this is one of the issues with this sometimes. Oh, it's this one. Okay. Apply. So this is basically like when you use an Applefy scraper, you need to input this. How do I describe this? This is a JSON string, and you're just sending a HTTP request to the Applefy actor, and it needs to return something. And pretty much what this will do is it'll scrape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do save and don't run, right, just so we can like have a look at this. And like this is just like a gateway into what you can do with Appify because there's so much stuff. Like I'm not even joking. This stuff is insane. But again, I can't really like say too much. And with this, I'm just gonna queue this. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. It's just one run. It usually takes longer when you have like I don't know, like 10,000 or something, and you want to see if they're all running ads, and it'll just give you some sort of confirmation response. And this is a okay. So look at this, right? Now, this is nice. This is very fast. So if I click in, it'll come out. It'll pop out 10 results. It'll come over here, and these are the ads Gymshark is currently running, like on their page. So it's like this page is currently running ads. This is the Gymshark LTD. So let's say you're running ecom or something, or you want to target ecom. You want to see if they're running ads. You'd be like, I can undercut your ad agency or something stupid like that. Let me see. So if I go into, it's not page info, it's, oh God, publish platforms. So you can see basically what platform. So Facebook, Instagram, Audience Network, Messenger. I don't even know what Audience Network is. I don't do ads. Impressions with index. Where is the one I'm looking for? So this is the issue with these JSONs. If I go into category, no. Snapshot. This is what this is. I think it's body. Yeah, here we are. Cards. Here we are. Okay, so these are German ads. Oh, very nice. .de. And then from here, you can also get like their image. So if I just copy this, but this is so cool. When I figured this out, you can come over here and just come over here and you just copy and paste it in. It will, you'll see something in like my top right corner now. Or no, it won't. I don't want to get copyright. Okay, lovely. We're gonna get rid of that. But as you can tell, oh god, as you can tell, let's hope that doesn't do anything to demonetize my thing or whatever. I don't know how this stuff works. But as you can tell, Gymshark is running ads. And as you can tell, they're probably successful. So yeah, we're gonna oh god, that's funny. But back on track, right? We have you can get the image and you can basically run it through a GPT prompt. And I'm curious what GPT would say about that, but you know, all is well. And that is Applefy. So next we have let me see. I have Slack and Instantly that is up next on the list, right? So this is more stuff to figure out. So what's nice is about this, and I've had this like set up where you can basically send over a Slack notification. So if I go, why is that still loading? Go away, Amplify. So you can basically, if anybody's ever used make.com, like this is like kind of like that, like not really, but like it kind of is. So find Slack user by email, find Slack, send message to Slack channel. So if you just add in like your Slack channel in this, you can just like send messages, etc., to like Slack and whatever. And like if I come over here, inbox replacement, meeting books, smart lead responses, I can send like a message to general or something, or send an emoji, bot name. So if there's a lead coming in, I can do that. If someone is a really qualified lead, maybe they're coming through vector.co, I can do that as well. So there's like a lot of these things you can kind of do. So form information, add a new key value pair. So this is if you want to like submit a form kind of, and you want it to be in a structured data sort of way, you can do this as well. So this is really good to like update your Slack channel and update your team. And then if I come into add enrichment as well, if I go instantly, yeah. So then this is actually I'm just gonna use smart lead. So I won't go into like the full smart lead setup, but this is good because when you set off a full table, it won't obviously do it all at once because that would break most systems, like 99.99% of systems. If you ran 50,000, like you would break most systems. So the nice thing about these like instantly and smart lead setups is that you can basically set up campaigns. So you just map it to a campaign ID, and since smart lead has a rate limit of I think it's 60 rates per second. So that means you can only run 60 API requests a second. And if you have a campaign of 6,000 leads, that's 100 minutes. And that is, wow, that was quick maths. That's 6,000 minutes. No, 6,000 leads, that's 100 minutes. That's an hour and like half-ish. So this is like better suited to campaigns where you, how do I describe this? This is better suited for campaigns where they're continuously evergreen campaigns. They're always updating. Maybe it's website visitors and you want to enrich and then map it over to a campaign. Maybe it's yeah, look, I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of different things you can do for this. So just saying. And then pretty much you just map in all the necessary data, and like I can just map in like the first name, last name. If I'm using AI to write some of my emails, I put it in here as well, and then I basically map it over. And you can do allow duplicate leads across campaigns, completely up to you. There's custom fields, which is important. I pretty much only use the email, first name, uh, company name, and custom fields. Everything else is pretty irrelevant. And the most important thing is having this on, having the formula right, which is basically, yeah, how do I describe this? Which is basically when you're kind of going through this, right? And you're kind of mapping this out and you're using the conditional formulas, you only want to run this smart lead formula if the email is valid, because there's no point mapping over an invalid email because you're just going to have a hard bounce. And that's just silly. That's just pure dumb. If you can't wrap your head around that, I wholeheartedly, I'll leave it there. Right. So there's that. So this is the smart lead one. So that's smart lead Slack. Yeah, don't save. We have HTTP requests, which are next. Here we are. So we now have HTTP requests. This is also super useful. So if I come over here, by the way, like you see all this other stuff here. Like I'm gonna be honest, I build a lot of tables. I haven't touched this once. I literally like all this stuff. I just most of it I just haven't touched it because it's just like if you ever like Pareto's principle 80-20, I use like 20% of things and I use them all the time. Oh, I should probably show Clearbit as well. Clearbit's a good one. Right, so HTTP. So if I come over here, so this is a HTTP API, right? I can show you. So if I bring this over here, right? So a HTTP request is just sending a request across the internet. I don't even know if I want to get into it because like it's just there's so much like shit that like has to be like dealt with your brain and yeah. So this is basically like when you're setting up HTTP requests, right? You need certain variables which is like API keys. You need an endpoint. You need a JSON of like data you're sending over. So like these are like API keys. I don't want to click into them because it's like then they'll get kind of set up. But if I just look at this here, so you have a get, you have a post, you have a patch, you have a put, and you have a delete, right? They're kind of like delete self-explanatory. Put and patch, I'm actually not sure. Get and post is basically get, you're just getting data from somewhere, and post, you're posting data and you're getting a response back. Um, Honestly, patch and put, right? I'm gonna have to figure that one out. This is the endpoint. So when you set up any sort of like webhook, or you have you need somewhere to send data to, right? You just need somewhere to send data to. You're sending a request to this endpoint. So it's kind of like you're like calling someone, right? You're calling someone, and your endpoint is their phone number, right? And like you just need to imagine their phone number as the endpoint. And then this is a query string. So this is basically if you want to, actually, what is this for? This is like, let me see. Okay, so I think these are related. Yeah, so generally JSON structure. So okay, right. So a JSON structure, this is done automatically for me, which is nice of them. So I was explaining JSON string, and I finished the video, and we're back. And JSON string is great, and I'm just gonna show you now because this is just way easier. So I was basically explaining how what a JSON string is, and I have an example, and I was also this is basically TriKit. So TriKit AI is an AI verifier. AI verifier. It's a verifier, and it finds emails for you, like pretty much. And if I just come over here and I just open it up, you can see here it's just an email finder and verifier, unlimited, free. That's a bit misleading. It's obviously not unlimited and it's not free because that's like just not how life works. Let me see. They say unlimited and free. I think it's because they have a free tier. Oh yeah, it's pay as you go. So yeah, this is the pricing. It's pretty good, and the data you get back is also pretty good. So this is kind of the setup on what it kind of looks like with. So we're basically sending a post request, and then we're using the endpoint, which is well, this. So it's a api.trikit.ai job/find email. You can usually find this stuff in the documentation. So trikit doc. So this is getting into like it's not even like I guess it's code territory. Like it's not even that serious. Like it's really not that serious. I'm pretty sure it's this one. We'll have to see though because I've tried looking for their documentation before and it's a bit more difficult. And if it doesn't load, I can just bin this off. Yeah, here we are. So like this is the Trike AI documentation. This is this is how they kind of structure it. So it tells you the header and location, which is the endpoint. So I just put this, which is the HTTP. You also have the ID, which you get when you like sign up for an account, and then you get the X API key, which is just the API key kind of setup. And and this is like it gets a little bit more complex, but this is basically the JSON structure that I was referring to. So you have full names, domains, company names, LinkedIn standard, etc., etc. And I'm not going to go fully into this because this will bore some people to death and some people will find it really interesting. I just need you to know it kind of exists. So there's that. And then I usually have my API key in here, and what I'm going to do actually, yeah, so I usually have my API key in here, but if I have it in here, you guys are going to steal all my data, so we're not going to put my API key in there. And then this is the fields to return path. So if you basically want certain fields inside this to be returned, because the Clay Excel has an 8 KB limit. KB stands for gigabyte, I'm pretty sure, but it has an 8 KB limit. And this just means that if you import back too much data, it just kind of breaks on you. So you don't want that, obviously. And then, yeah. So this is like the base setup for a HTTP request. Again, this gets way more complex. And to get it like put it bluntly for you, like this entire thing, like this entire sheet, they're all HTTP requests. It's just what they've done is they've removed the backend code, and they're just like, we have it built out. Just put in the variables. We'll do it all for you. Like ChatGPT, this is a HTTP request. Like I could do a ChatGPT HTTP request from this. And like I've seen people do the DeepSeek, self-host DeepSeek, and then run DeepSeek in Clay with HTTP because it's cheaper and it's just better. So there's that. I'm just looking at this now. Filter coding, conditional runs, AI, Smarty integration, Slack, Apify, email validation. Um, the one of the other ones, and this is going to be an interesting setup for you, which you might find interesting. I want to bring it to your attention because you will find it useful at some point or another in the future, because I certainly found it useful. And I'm just going to close these because for some reason it's still just having a little bit of a heart attack and it's doing its own thing. So there we go. So like when I play around with this software, like I'm always finding new things. Like it's some of this stuff like I'm still kind of finding out about this. And let me see. Do. Let me see. Extract. Enrich person's info. AI. It was extract. EXTRACT. So, extract values from data is also really important. This is a bit more difficult to explain unless you are like you're getting into this like more advanced level. This pretty much, I'm just gonna click into it and open it. This pretty much will take a piece of text and it will use regex. So it'll take some data and it will use regex to separate that data into a list, and then that list can be mapped to a new table. I will probably do a video on this because it's probably one of the greatest things I've ever discovered in my entire life, and that's saying a lot for someone that sits at home all day and makes clay tables. It's okay, guys. I'm not sad, but nah. But pretty much, it's like an extraction type, right? And you can do it by email address. You can do it by personal LinkedIn URLs, domains, custom, advanced, which is usually what I do. And a regex is this is so hard to describe, right? But there are certain patterns that you can list out inside of a regex, and you should look into this. And with this, you can basically go through a piece of text and separate it out if you see any patterns. So if you can set it up so it's like, if there is an at symbol, I will get everything between the at symbol to the left and before the next space. So you'll get the like that half, and then you'll get everything after the at symbol. And once it hits the space, right? So it'll basically get everything between like the two spaces of the email, let's say email address, right? You can get kind of more specific. So this is really useful. The other one, this is a free one as well. So look into that, super awesome. Look into that. And then the other one is, if I come into here, let me see, I think it's Clearbit. That's what I was saying. Yeah, so Clearbit is here, even though I spelled it wrong. It's nice of them to know. So the one of the other things is Clearbit, and this is free, which is find domain from company name. So if you want to find the domain from a company name, this is super easy. It's free. You can do this as well. And this basically sets it up so you just put in, let's say, you'd put in this company name here, and it would look for the domain. And if you can't find it, then you use AI afterwards. And that, of course, saves you some amount of money because when you're doing this for 50,000 people and you do this across multiple clients, across a lot of different tables, you're like, okay, I'm like, I can cut some corners here, and not even cut corners, but I can basically use freer versions and then use the paid versions afterwards because they're just as reliable. Um, one of the other ones I'm kind of trying to figure out now because after this it just gets into like complex territory. Let me see. Predict gender. How interesting. I don't know how it does that, but you could probably do that with AI as well. Normalize the domain. Generating email permutations is also a good one. So pretty much this is you can put in a full name and you can put in a company domain, and it will basically spit out lots of different permutations for that company. And then you can basically run that through some sort of email verifier and look for the verified company name, or sorry, the verified email. And I think there's one more thing. Oh yes, I wanted to run through credits as well. So Clay has a bunch of plans, and like the credits is like the absolute. I guess what you get when you buy like the base plan. So there has a few pricings, and I would look into it. Like I'm on Explorer right now. That's enough to last because you just use API keys for everything, and like you're fine. So there's that.
By the way, in the description, there's a link. It brings you to a landing page, and it's pretty much for anybody that might want help with what we've been discussing for the last hour or so. It's just me yabbering away about how I can help you book more calls each and every month. So have a look at that if you're interested. If not, there's no worries at all. But that's enough of me talking today. If you found what you were watching today useful, drop a like. If you have any problems, drop them in the comments below. Happy to help out. And also, if you're really stuck for cold email stuff, drop a sub. But otherwise, have a great day and see you.